Got to move on. Let's jump back to the SEC East as promised, and let's go with the defending national champion, Shane. And boy, do we got a familiar coach here that, hey, we obviously haven't heard from this guy in a while. Oh, Will Muschamp.
I will tell you what, man. I used to hate Muschamp. I'll never forget, after Florida game, he yelled at the fans there at Tennessee, listen, he said some comments that just it rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
But damn, he it's like, like we fought once, okay? But we're friends, Because the more I hear him, I'm just like, man, this is a guy I'd like to hang out. Him and Pittman, he's just one of those guys that you're just naturally drawn to when you hear him talk.
Yeah, and I wish, during his stops at South Carolina and Florida, he maybe showed a little bit more of this personality.
Yeah.
That's what I was always told, behind the scenes, great guy. And then he gets in these press settings and just automatically flips on the dick switch. You know what I mean? And I think that hurts you. Now,
yeah.
Does that cost you your job? No. But it can, like you said, Sam Pittman's a perfect example. He's a straight shooter. He tells it like it is. He doesn't suck up to anybody. If they ask a dumb question, he basically says, I don't know how to answer. That's a weird question. But the rest of the time, man, I mean, he's out here with his Coors Light can on the sideline. You know what I mean? I mean, that's who these guys are. They might as well show that personality. And I'm glad you started it with that, Shane. So let's kick it over to Will Muschamp. You'll get some of this personality. He's asked about you can't hear the questions. They did a poor job passing the microphone down here, but he's asked about being co-defensive coordinator with Glenn Schumann. He's asked about working with all these Georgia alums down there with Kirby and Mike Bobo and Brian McClendon and on and on and on, and how they build chemistry on that defensive side of the ball with so much turnover. This is kind of really where the coach in him takes over.
I've been called a lot of things, but you go ahead, whatever you want. Absolutely. I didn't really – I knew of Glenn, but I didn't really know Glenn till last year. And had a wonderful working experience with he and Dan and Trey Scott. And obviously Coach Smart is on the defensive side of the ball a lot. But we had a really good rapport as far as our what we needed to do to be successful, and there's nothing's going to change with that. We have a great working relationship. Glenn's promotion, in my opinion, is very well deserved. He's an outstanding football coach. He's extremely bright. He has a great rapport with his players. And you really look at Coach Smart's going into the 7th season here at Georgia. The two longest tenured coaches are Glenn and Dale McGee. And you really look over those 7 years, consistency of their position groups probably is the best that's been here in those 7 years. Arguably, I'm sure there's different years, but his position's been very productive. He's recruited extremely well at his position. He's just an outstanding football coach. He has a very good understanding of what we do defensively, how we adjust things out, and he's always looking for a better way to do it and always researching those things and what can we do to get better in those situations. But I really enjoy working with Glenn just because of the intelligence, the football intelligence he has, and the passion he brings to the job every single day, because those things are really important, and the players see that, and they understand how invested he is in them. Well, that's great. I mean, it's, again, I appreciate Coach Smart giving me the opportunity to be here. Obviously, I think Mike's a great addition for us. Brian McClendon's a great addition for us. Todd Hartley, another Georgia graduate. All of those guys are guys that I'm more familiar with. Coach Smart and Coach Bobo and Coach McClendon. I'm getting to know Todd in the last year. The guy's an outstanding football coach. But all of those guys have a vested interest in the University of Georgia. And not that we didn't know other places, but at the end of the day, this is where you went to school. And certainly glad to be here. But I enjoy working with people, because, I told the players one night when I was talking to them, we spend more time with you guys and our coaching staff than we do our own families. I'm not proud to say that, but this is not a job. It's a lifestyle. That's what it is. And so you like to be able to spend time with people that you enjoy being around. And we certainly do. And I credit Coach Smart and the staff that he's hired. There's people in the building that you enjoy coming to work because you like what you do, but you also like the people you're working with, and that's important. Well, I think as a staff, that's something we've been really cognizant of making sure that, just creating the best version of each of those young men every single day. And continue to develop leadership, continue to develop the mental and physical toughness that you're going to need to have in our league. to play and to be successful. We understand what good looks like around here. We also understand what elite looks like around here. And the standard doesn't change. The standard's the standard that's been set by the head football coach, and our players and our staff understand that.
All right, Shane. So, hey, man, how great was that hearing old Will Muschamp, a guy I didn't know we'd ever get back on this show.
I know, man. You just, I mean, he's going to be around in the SEC forever, and you kind of wonder. This isn't a forever home, but it's such a good fit for him right now, especially kind of rehab his and maybe take some notes, because I think there's a lot of things he wish he would have done different in Florida. There's a lot of things he probably wish he'd done different in South Carolina. He's down here with the national champ and Kirby Smart, but he's also surrounded by some great minds. I love what Georgia does. It's right out of the Nick Saban book, man. You surround yourself with successful coaches. Maybe they've had a couple of bad seasons, but you bring them in and you rehab them, and I just think it makes it better in that room, because even though he's not he's not the assistant coach here, you know what I'm saying, but he is. I guarantee you there's conversation that Kirby have just with him, picking his mind in a situation,
Mm-hmm. And the other co-defensive coordinator, Glenn Schumann, Shane, he's been with Kirby Smart all the way back to their days at Alabama. He started working for Kirby when he was 18. Now he's damn near, I think he's like 35 years old. So about half his life here, Shane, he's been working for old Kirby Smart. So maybe a name around the SEC you don't know, but he's one of the best recruiters for the Georgia Bulldogs. And that's saying something, because that staff recruits as well, if not better, than everybody in the country, Alabama included. I mean, they're neck and neck with the Crimson Tide. So what is this going to look like, Shane, with Glenn Schumann finally getting his chance to be a defensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs? And despite the fact that they were so efficient and elite on that side of the ball, they're still very cognizant that you have to adjust as the game does. So let's kick it over to Glenn Schumann talking about working with Kirby and how the defense will adjust this season in Athens.
But I think, when you are coaching defense, you have to evolve with the times, right? Every year what offenses are going to do to attack you and their trends offensively are going to change. So no matter where this defense has existed, no matter who's been in charge of it, no matter what the coaches on staff have been or the players, the goal has been to create a defense that can create problems for offenses, answer the challenges they present, right? So every year that'll look a little bit different. Our top calls every year are a little bit different, right? The way we use our personnel is a little bit different. You figure out who your best players are, what you need to do successfully, and you do that as a staff cooperatively to give yourself the best chance on game day. And, when you do that, you get a good product.
Well, Shane, I'll tell you one thing he picked up from Kirby is no personality in these press conferences,
No, dry as a piece of toast, ain't he? But I'll tell you what's interesting about this guy, man. You talk about finally getting a shot. The kid's like 30-something years old, like 31, 32 years old, very, very young. Mm-hmm. Already has 5 national championships under his belt. You know what I'm saying? Never played football. He comes out, he goes with Nick Saban, he hangs out with him for a little bit. He becomes Kirby Smart's right-hand man while he's down there in Alabama. The first hire he makes is this cat, and he's finally getting a shot. I'm telling you, this is a guy that will be a head coach before you know it. Mm-hmm. I mean, the people that talk about him, he's like Rain Man when it comes to football. So I think I love the idea that they promote from within, and I think that adds to bringing future coaches down to that staff, and he's going to get another opportunity. And I'm telling you, Georgia's got a good one here.
Yeah, it's almost like, he is the Kirby Smart for what Nick Saban had with Georgia's elite coach. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's a role reversal of a little bit.
Yeah. No, this is the way I think it should be done. And, the players have bought in. And, yes, he is not fun to listen to. But you know,
He'll get there.
If you,
He'll get there.
If you read, if you talk to players, man, they talk about him and film study and stuff. There's just not a lot of people do it as good as he does, and that's why I think, you know, you look at the edge the Bulldogs had on defense. You know, a lot of that was, you know, behind the scenes, Schumann and Kirby, and I mean this is defensive mind coaches down there. It's a clinic, man. It's a freaking it is an NFL defense clinic down there.
Yep.